안녕하세요 여러분, Korean Sanskrit입니다. Welcome back creators to your very own channel where you all Hallyu fans can come and learn more about the Korean culture. So this video is very particularly made for all those candidates of the GKS-G 2025 scholarship who have been successfully selected for the interview round at the Indian Embassy. So the questions and the content of this video might be a lot similar to the interviews that are done at other embassies. So those who have been selected for embassy track interviews can view this video, but this video I have particularly jotted down and summarized all the questions that were asked at the Indian Embassy previous year as per my experience. So it would be really helpful for you all. So first of all, a huge congratulations for all the candidates who have been selected for the embassy track interview. So this video I will be talking about all the questions and how you have to present yourself and what you had to talk about in the embassy track interview. So let's already begin with the video. So moving forward, first thing I want to talk about is what you have to dress at the interview. So the dressing that you have to wear is a very formal kind of dressing, but not really formal, like you don't have to wear blazers and stuff, but you can wear a formal shirt, and for girls you can wear a formal blouse and trousers, and make sure that you have a very good Wi-Fi connection wherever you are attending the interview from. So a very great Wi-Fi connection is must for this interview round, because everything, your answers and everything should be really clearly conveyed to the panelist who will be taking your interview, right? So to not lose any points, just make sure that you have a very good internet connection wherever you're attending the interview from. The second thing is, most of the people ask that can they attend the interview from mobile because their laptop cameras are not really good. The answer is a big yes. You can attend your interview from mobile. In fact, from attending from mobile will have a very good clarity while of your screen, of your image, because you mostly the laptop cameras does not have that good quality of video. So using mobiles would be much better because you can access it, and make sure that you are keeping it on a stable distance and hands free, and not holding it in your hands while giving the interview, because it doesn't look very professional. So the second thing is, this year the embassy track is having interviews individually, most probably, because till last year they had sent a list, uploaded a list on the embassy website where they had a group students, and even the timing for the interviews were given in a separate mail sent to every students. 5 students would be attending the interview from so and so timing. But this time I don't have much idea, but each student, but regardless, even if it's individual or even if it's a group interview, regardlessly every student would be given just 5 minutes. So in a group interview, usually how my interview was last year, I was not even given 2 or 3 minutes. I was just asked 2 questions and then I was wrapped up. But the time was given to other students who were a bit slow in answering their answers. So this kind of things can happen in group interview, and which is why I feel that individual interviews are much better, because they have complete focus on you and your application. So regardless of whatever it is, I hope that you all don't get nervous because of the change, and face the interview very confidently. Now moving on to the questions that would be asked in the interview. The first and foremost thing is the introduction. So you have to prepare a really well introduction within a minute or 1 minute and a half, because usually they say that you should wrap your introduction within a minute, or they would cut off your introduction. But I would suggest that try to include all the factors that you want to talk about yourself through this introduction. What a mistake I did in my embassy track interview was, I just talked about myself, what degree I did in my undergraduate program, and then what I want to pursue, and why GKS scholarship. I just talked about these 3 aspects in my introduction and wrapped it up within a minute. But there were a lot of students, fellow candidates, who talked about their extracurricular hobbies and all of the things that possible, and no one was cut during that introduction, at least during my round. So I feel that it is really good to prepare and include all the stuffs. Like, first thing, you have to talk about yourself. What have you done in your undergraduate, and you have to talk about your soft skills, your technical skills. Then you have to talk about which field you will be pursuing through the GKS scholarship, why GKS scholarship, and your future plans and your hobbies that show what kind of person you are through this introduction. So this was the first question. Like, this is the question that they will be asking to every candidate. So please make sure that you prepare it really well. The second question is going to come from your study plan. So make sure that you have literally have everything. Like, you try to make questions from your study plan. You try to mark everything possible that could be asked as a question during the interview. So what the question I was asked was just my future plans, like future study plans, and most of the candidates were asked this question. What are your future study plans and stuff? Because I don't know, maybe they the first thing is like embassy track. During the embassy track interview, the panelists will open your application. They will have your application at their desk. So as I said in the previous videos, that you need to highlight your recipe for them to pick out words and just make questions and to know about you. The thing that I did mistake in my embassy track was I didn't highlight anything in my SOP, which is why it might have been difficult for them to go through my SOP while asking me questions during the embassy track interview. And the second thing is they don't go past the SOP and PS pages. Like, they don't check the entire application, but only till the application form, and they don't even open your LOR. So don't expect questions from that. So it actually reduces the amount of questions they would be asking. So just make sure that you're preparing your study plan and personal statement really well, because this is what they would be asking you questions from. And make sure you try to catch up all the stuff that you have highlighted in the personal statement and study plan, because it is they would be opening it right in front of you, and they would be just picking out one word and will be asking a question from that. Even the panelists would be reading your recipe for the first time at the interview, so it won't be that difficult. Just be prepared for what you have written in your personal statement and study plan. So if you are from a computer science background, then you would be asked about something related to computer science field, or what exactly you have interests in, whatever you have mentioned from the SOP and something like that. Okay, so it's not that difficult when it comes to the question from the essays, but the real difficulty comes when they ask you a tricky question. So by tricky question, I mean they are really tricky. So I was fortunate that I wasn't asked such tricky question in the interview round, but that's another story, because I didn't even get selected in the interview round. After the interview round, I was in the interview round, but I didn't get selected past it. So one of the candidates in my group, the interview group, was asked a tricky question like, what is the earth made of? Is it made of geometry or algebra? Sounds tricky, right? And it could be really nerve-wracking when such question is asked to you during an interview, but you don't need to be afraid of such questions, because these questions are not exactly asked to answer them, but they are asked for understanding your ability to face such questions during an interview. So you just need to be confident while answering such questions. Even if you don't know, you need to make a good sentence and then proceed with answering. You don't know the answer for this question, but so and so you think that this is your opinion, something you have to be answering, at least answering, and not just stay still and not zipped up your mouth. Okay, you understand it. So you just have to be confident with whatever you answer, even if you don't know the answer. So another tricky question was asked to some other candidate, which was miracle of Han River. Even I don't know the answer to this question, but these are some very tricky questions. There was another tricky question that was asked to one of the candidate, was how will you explain the beauty of maths to someone? So this is the pageant type of questions that are asked suddenly out of nowhere, and you just have to be very creative with your answers. So these types of questions can be asked to some of you, if you are if they think that you can answer such kind of questions, they will definitely ask you such questions. So be prepared for some questions that are related to your field. Like if you are especially from the STEM field, then you would be asked some questions like the maths questions that I talked about a few moments before. So if you are like someone who looks like can answer this question and are from a STEM background, so you need to be confident about such like answering such questions. Only then there are like really high chances of getting the scholarship through embassy track. So another thing is that if you have changed your field, so while like applying for this scholarship, like you have been from a different background and now you are pursuing some different thing, like you had pursued arts in your undergraduate and now you want to do MBA in your master's degree. So you need to be prepared for what made you think to change your fields for this scholarship. Like why this sudden change, and like what do you want to achieve in the near future by choosing this field as your degree, like for your master's degree. So you need to be prepared for answering those type of questions in the interview round. Rest everything is not that really serious, because even if you are part of some WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups or even on the Facebook, so you would get to know what kind of questions are the embassy is asking to the people who are being interviewed before you. So the questions are kind of repetitive, so be prepared with some questions on Korean culture. Like they might ask you, what if you want to attend your brother's wedding, who like suppose you have a brother or relative who is getting married and you are in the GK scholarship, would you go or not? Like that kind of questions are also asked. Like you really need to be very cautious while answering those questions. Like you should say that if you are having like if you are not having a vacation period, then you wouldn't go for that, because you are on a scholarship here. You are not supposed to miss any classes during the scholarship period. So these are a few type of questions that might be really confusing for you. So make sure that you attend all these answers even if you don't know the exact answer to these questions. So the next thing I would be talking about is the questions that I was asked personally during my university track. So as you know that I was selected for the university track interview as well through my university, which is NJ University. Like after I failed my embassy track interview round, I applied to university track to NJ University and I was selected for the interview round by the administrative department. So the things that I was asked here were pretty much similar to what I was asked in the embassy round. And for the university track, almost all the universities ask the same type of questions. So the thing is, university track interviews, if they are conducted by the administrative department, like the people who would be selecting you for GKS, if they are conducted by them, then expect the basic type of interview, HR type questions, like only those type of questions would be asked to you during the interview. But if your interview would be taken by the professor of your department, like the department that you will be going to, then you might expect a few questions related to your field. So be prepared about your like most of the tricky questions that you would be asked based on your field. But if you are being interviewed by the administrative department, then you don't have to really worry much. If you have faced a lot of interview, then it won't be that really difficult to like answer the interview during the GKS-G interview round of the university track. So the question that I was asked during the interview of university track was first my introduction. So the thing that I want to talk about during this is your interview would be taken by one or two people, but I bet that there are people behind those two people or three people who you are seeing on the screen, who are analyzing your answers very psychologically. like this is a very important aspect of GKS scholarship, because they want to know the mindset of the student that they are going to accept in the university. Because you need to be very strong, you need to have a very strong mindset, and you should be strong mentally to survive in a country alone without like being like gathered by some negative thoughts, or like giving up on the scholarship midway, or like being very sensitive to some issues. So they need to analyze you psychologically as well. So this is the one thing that I like experienced during my university track round, because one of the sir was sitting in front of me during the interview, but there was one ma'am who was behind the screen, who had just joined through audio and not the video, and was analyzing all my answers. So this kind of thing might happen with you as well. So be prepared that you sound really confident while you are having the interview, and you don't slack like anywhere when you're talking your answers. Like when you're saying your answers, you shouldn't be hesitant, or you shouldn't sound nervous while saying those. You should be as confident as you want, like as desperate and confident that you want this scholarship. Okay, so that's all they want to know about you. So the first and foremost thing is introduction, and as I said previously, that you have to include all those aspects in your introduction and make sure that you are really talking everything about yourself. So they actually ask you questions more. Like asking more questions is much better thing than them being silent, is what I feel. Because if they are asking questions, that means they are interested you in as a candidate. So it's really good thing to for them to ask more questions to you, and if you are answering them more confidently, then they would like surely ask you some more tricky questions to know your eligibility to be being accepted as a scholar. So the next thing that I was asked was goal of study and my future study plan, which are like just the things from my SOP and like study plan. So it was not that difficult to answer those questions, because this is what I was asked in the embassy track interview as well. So this is what I meant by when I said that there are a lot of common things that are asked in the embassy track interview as well as the university track interview. So another question that I was asked, which was like the tricky question, was if my professor, like if I have an argument, or if I can't be on good terms with my professor who is in charge of my thesis, and like just the mentor professor, if I'm not on good terms with them, then and like they won't let me graduate because of some reasons, what would I do in that case? So I was asked this question, and I answered that if there is such problem arising, I would surely like first talk out to that professor, like what is the thing and what I can improve on to be on good terms with that professor. So I will try to improve myself regarding that. But then I was cross questioned, like no, but like if the professor doesn't want you to graduate because like just he thinks like you are not good enough to graduate for that degree, so what would you do in that term? So I said that I would like uh, have a conversation with the administrative department, and then like may ask for a change of professor for letting understanding my situation, and like letting guiding me for my thesis, and like letting me pass. And if not, like if in case that the period has like my GKS scholarship gets over and I'm still not able to graduate because of some reasons, then I would ask my professor, like anyone, or like try to get another scholarship, like university scholarship, because I know that I'm confident that I would be able to do my best for this thesis work. But if for some reason that I'm not on good terms with a professor, I will definitely try to change a professor if that works for me. So this is how I answered my question for that like particular tricky question. This was my answer. So don't be afraid of what you are talking about for such tricky questions, because your answer is not what is important, but your perspective and your confidence and your dedication to complete the work is what is important, is what they would be analyzing psychologically as well. So that's all for this video. I won't let this video be as long as my previous videos because it gets really boring, and I would just be taking a lot of precious time of yours if I make this video really long. But I hope that through this video I was able to convey some really important points that are really necessary for you while answering the interview of the GKS-G Scholarship. So to all the candidates who have successfully entered the interview round for the GKS-G Scholarship 2025, I wish you all really all the very best through this round, and I hope that you pass this round and we meet soon in this country of Korea. So I'll be coming back with yet another interesting video. You can suggest me if you want some want videos on some topic. I would surely be very happy to make informative videos on those topic and help you all out in all way possible. So please make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe to my videos, and if you really find it helpful and informative, please do share it with other candidates as well. So I hope that all of you achieve good results after this round, and regardless of the results, just make sure that you're not really actually focusing on the results, because in this time it is very important to distract your mind from the outcome but rather focus on your procedure. So give your 100% on the procedure, don't think much about the results, and just try to calm yourself down, focus on gathering all your positive energies and manifest in all ways possible to get this scholarship, because this is going to be a really big milestone for you. So this was it for today's video. I'll come back with yet another interesting and informative video. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.